Here we are for another call. We're back. And today I think this is a fun one. Um, we were talking beforehand, and Rowan was telling me that when she has said this in the past, she watches eyes change. I think this was in regards to the same topic.
Mhm.
But when she tells people, midwives specifically, jail ain't the worst part. When she tells them it's a total mindset shift or a new perspective where you're welcoming in this new perspective because this is not a perspective that many hold or will get to even experience actually. But this is something you'll say frequently. And so when you're telling people this, where are
Mhm.
you going? What's going on in your mind with that?
Well, first off, it was my experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and I think what I want people first most off to understand is jail isn't that scary. Like, they have to feed you and
Mm.
they can't beat you anymore or anything. Like they can't, it's frowned upon. I mean, like, especially, I'm talking in the United States here.
Yeah.
Um, and and I've talked to also other midwifery sisters who have spent real time in jail. When I say real time,
Mhm.
I mean like months or even years. And it's not the worst part. It's just really not. It's just a moment in time. It's an experience you have. And um,
What does Gloria say about it?
oh, that was just about to say. So before my experience, Gloria was sentenced to 2 months back in the early 80s, I think it was. Yeah. I mean, I was still in high school or junior high school or something back then. And but what she said to me, and I'm not the only one, she said it to other folks who were facing criminal prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
And she says three things happen, right? Number one, when you're in there, you do the same thing you do on the outside, meaning you talk to women, you collect their stories, and you create little circles. And we did. We would have a little gratitude circle every evening before we got locked away in our boxes and our kennels for the night. Um, and and number two, you get your sexy back because food sucks. So you're probably going to lose some weight and you do a lot of walking, right? So, and number three, when you come out, you're kind of infamous and you get to do whatever you want with that.
Right.
You get to make choices of, is
Mm-hmm.
this going to traumatize me forever or am I going to use this?
Yeah.
Am I going to use this experience, you know, and help others, which is, I'm not saying it didn't traumatize me, but it wasn't the jail that traumatized me. That was the easy part.
Mm.
We had a community in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it that traumatized you?
The betrayal of my own community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compared to, and see, I wonder if this, clearly I've never experienced jail time, but I'm wondering if this is maybe a personality difference where it it weighs a lot on someone to not have community, to
Mhm.
have their name totally dragged through the mud, um, versus someone who maybe has 10 kids and they say, that is the worst thing. I don't want to leave my 10 kids.
Sure.
So I wonder,
Oh, absolutely. I'm saying this from the perspective of, well, and Gloria did have kids.
mm,
Let's make that clear. Like she did.
hmm
But the betrayal is still the worst part.
yeah,
That doesn't go away. Jail goes away. You
yeah,
put that behind you. You can't put the betrayal of your closest people. Like in my case, and I can't speak for her or, Angie or Vicky or anybody else who's been through this.
hmm
Um, but I can speak for me. It was those closest to me that separated themselves the most and said, we always knew it'd be that woman,
yeah,
you know? And You and I share a teacher in Wapio, right? And
Mhm.
so I will say one of the things Wapio charges us with on day one and forever is to understand everything on the planet. Right. And we all have that reaction.
Yeah. Yes, let
She
me
does,
understand everything on the planet. I like this
right.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And she doesn't mean you have to like it. And
Right.
she doesn't mean you have to agree with it. She
Right.
just have to understand where it comes
Mhm.
from. Right. So for me, I had to get to that knowledge that I know it was fear
Mm.
because holy shit. What do you mean they can charge you with murder and put you in the box?
Yeah.
Right. So I remind the moms when I talk to them, because I talk to a lot of young midwives who have young children who are facing criminal charges
Mhm.
and investigation, is I've never seen them put a mom with littles in jail for a long period of time. When
Mm.
I say a long period of time, I'm like, yeah, you might get arrested. You might be there for a few hours, maybe even an overnight if it happens on a Sunday or something. But what I have watched happen with the moms, because they don't want to be that guy. They don't want to be the guy who separates a nursling baby
Mm.
or a toddler from their mom,
Mhm.
because everybody's going to get mad about that. Right.
Yeah.
So, what I've seen them do with that is actually let you schedule your surrender. They do. That's what they did with Angie. She scheduled it. She knew what day
Wow.
she was going. She scheduled it with her attorney. She went down. They processed her. She signed out on bond. She went home.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was still easy. I think she probably suffered the most toll of anyone that I've seen go through a persecution because she chose to fight it.
Mhm.
Well, she had a nursling and then she had another baby while she was going through it, and she fought it, and it took a toll. It
Mhm.
takes a physical toll. It takes a toll on the family. I don't necessarily recommend, I don't recommend going to jail. I'm not saying
No.
it's a good thing. Don't, this
Right.
isn't your vacation. Do not plan this as your vacation. And three hats and a cat. It's not really a retirement plan. You know who I'm talking
Yes, I do.
to.
If you were to practice again today, would you have an attorney on retainer?
Yes.
You would.
Hmm.
What kind of an attorney?
Criminal.
Criminal attorney?
And I would want one that maybe had babies at home,
Mm,
if,
sure.
if possible, or knew somebody who did, or understood home birth in some way.
Mhm.
Maybe who had dabbled in civil rights, right? And is that what you would look for?
Yeah, I had some experience with civil as well as criminal, because both of those things can happen. You can be sued by
Mhm.
a family or by a private citizen, or you can be criminally indicted, arrested by the state.
And often they're both happening.
Right.
In my case, they were both
Both.
happening simultaneously.
And they're two different
Mm.
things. Like that's what we've talked a lot about, is noticing that the midwifery community and people in general don't really understand the differences between criminal, civil, administrative, the different kinds of persecution, because each one has its own rules and,
And you have
and its own
less rights in
purpose.
some than others.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Constitutional rights.
Mhm.
Criminal, at least you have constitutional rights to some degree.
You really don't. I mean,
Yeah.
they violated three of my
Yeah.
constitutional rights. I don't have the money.
Right. Yeah. They don't. I think the thing that got me, and I haven't been in jail, I have dealt with the legal system and the jail system with a loved one. You learn a lot, right? You learn how they stack the deck against you so that you'll take a plea.
Mm.
Like you learn how they function so that you will submit, so that you'll be afraid, so that you will think jail is the worst thing, so that you will think that you have to do whatever it takes to not go to jail,
Yeah.
right? And while there is the social stigma around it, and there is often hard for people to get employed, or there's limitations, especially if there's a felony. There's limitations to what you can do when you get out.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we begin to realize what I watched is that even the people that take the pleas, sometimes taking the plea And admitting that you were guilty of something that you weren't guilty of, that's also a burden you carry for the rest of your life, right? Like there's no easy way out.
And
Mhm.
even if you do no contest or an Alford plea, it's called in my state, where you're saying, I'm not guilty of this thing, but I understand that I'm accepting guilt and will be treated as if I am guilty of it.
That's a tricky little deal. You don't really understand what it is.
Yeah,
That is a tricky one. Yeah.
which is what my felony, my felony charge, I did an Alford plea to it. I pled
Okay.
guilty to my misdemeanor charge. But I
Were
pled
you guilty of it? Can you talk about this now?
I wasn't guilty of what they charged me with. Yes, I can talk about it.
Okay.
So my total charges when I was arrested were second-degree murder, of an unborn baby, an unborn child. Unborn child is how it's listed. Which is a second-degree offense. It is a fetalhood law. It's really for domestic violence.
Okay.
Is what that it was called, Ethan's Law. And its whole purpose was because the baby's name was Ethan and her partner had purposely kicked her and caused harm to cause a miscarriage. So that law came out of that. So my second charge was D felony assault causing serious bodily injury, because in order to kill the unborn fetus, you must assault the mother.
Right.
Bill of particulars, interestingly enough, was like making tea, doing cold compress, back pressure, which I found fascinating. This just tells you how bad the detectives were in my case.
That's what they got you on? That's what they had to present was herbs and back pressure?
Like, yeah, and like cold compress.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
was like, dude, I checked her cervix and I did a I did a catheter. Yeah, like, and they're talking about cold compresses. Okay.
Okay.
They were really not good at their job. And then I was charged with obtaining property by false pretenses, which is an H felony, I think, which means basically I took money for doing something I'm not. I'm not a midwife, and so I couldn't take money as a midwife, which is a fraud charge. It's a big one. It means you're not employable, right?
And has that followed you?
Oh no, it was dropped.
Oh, okay. Okay.
These were my initial charges.
Oh, I see.
And then the fourth charge was an H felony, which was obstruction of justice. And the way they said I obstructed justice was that because Rowan is my nickname,
Right.
and it's not my government name, and I didn't tell them that, and my paperwork came to me as Rowan Bailey. And there were some details around that my attorney proved that I wasn't trying to trick them, because she was like, don't I have, because I asked the medical board, because it was for my cease and desist. It came to Rowan Bailey. And I said, don't I can take this to my bank to be notarized. Like, I have to have this notary. And she was like, oh no, we don't need a notary. And I was like, all right. So I scribbled my name and I sent it back. And she was like, when she was at the notary office, they would have put her legal name. She wasn't trying to deceive you. She was grieving a dead baby, So, so I took the Alford plea to the obstruction of justice, and I felt okay with that because, well, yeah, I probably have obstruct. I would.
Yeah.
I may or may not, if given the opportunity, obstruct justice.
May or may not. Yes.
Because your idea of justice and mine may be different. Define justice.
Yes.
So we may have different ideas of what justice is.
And to clear the record, the baby's death was not your fault.
No. There was pathology that came out that showed, and it was a fetal demise. The birth happened 7 hours post losing heart tones. So 7-ish hours, somewhere around there. And it took Pitocin to get the baby out. In the hospital. Yeah, yeah. She was in the hospital for 7 hours before birth. So, and it took Pitocin to induce, contractions to come back and for that to happen. And the pathology came back with, I don't even remember, 11 or 12 different congenital anomalies and issues that were not compatible with life, nor were they diagnosable pre-birth.
Yeah.
And that is when they put the gag order on me and my attorney.
Which has expired, right?
Oh, it was expired as soon as I was sentenced, it was over.
Okay.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because the pathology was read in my sentencing hearing, so it is public knowledge.
Good. Okay.
It's like, there's no HIPAA here. There's no anything. It is public knowledge. You can go look it up with the state.
Huge that they were able to have that autopsy ready by the time
It wasn't an autopsy. It was
it wasn't.
pathology.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
But they sat on for a while, right?
2 years.
They sat on it while she was under death.
Oh my
Still
goodness.
offering me plea offers for manslaughter.
Wow. For 3 years, you said they sat on that information?
2 years they sat on the information. The whole process was around 3.
Wow. So you went to jail for how long?
I was in jail the first time about 2 weeks. They raised the money. The what do you call it? The restrictions I was on house arrest were ridiculous. My bond restrictions were like, just to get me out was ridiculous. It wasn't just the money. Like we had to come up with 15 grand, but also 6 people had to put up property. And I had to wear an ankle monitor and be home unless I was at, certain work things. And my first release, I was allowed more freedom. I was allowed to shop for provisions on my way to or from work and put gas on my car. And I could have like doctor's appointments and things. When they put me back in, because like one of the things they said, they were like, oh God, she went to Walmart. And I'm like, that's where you shop for provisions. It was on my way home from work. I needed things like cat litter and food, and I could get everything there.
Yeah.
Right. Oh God, she went to Walmart. I was like, I was shopping for provisions. It's right here in my paperwork. It says I can do that.
Yeah.
My compliance officer knew I was doing that. Right.
Yeah.
So, so they put me back in, and I chose not to bond back out. And I stayed in 10 months that time.
The first bond of $15K, was that raised by your community?
It was raised by people all over the world. Cool. It was raised by people who did not know me.
Wow.
Mostly.
And so a big part of, if anyone follows you on social media, they'll see you frequently put out these different GoFundMes and you're not necessarily advertising, but promoting other women, other birth workers who are going through different persecutions and prosecutions.
That's how I midwife now.
Yeah, you know how huge that is to have that support.
That is the only support I got. I won't say only. Some people who knew me or knew of me that I was connected with, like I will say Carla Hartley and Gloria LeMay did a huge part of my fundraising.
Okay, good.
Like they put it out there and they raised money for me. Gloria, I think, was sending out videos because one of her offerings was if you donated a certain amount, she would give you a free copy of her video.
Cool.
She was sending videos for a year.
Wow.
She had gave away so many videos. I owe that woman my life.
That is huge. So you were in for 10 months.
I was in for 10 months that time. Okay. And a new DA was elected.
Okay.
So I agreed to bond back out. So my attorney came to me. This is how bad jail is not. This is bad. You know the story I'm about to go. So I didn't know these things were happening.
Okay.
I didn't know, because I didn't go to court with her every time. That had to be shackled and chained. And it was a whole thing for me to go to court. So she only pulled me when she felt like she needed me.
Mm.
So she came to me one Friday and was like, okay, you're going home today. Like, what? She was like, well, like the new DA is elected. We know you're getting whatever you want, basically here. And they've agreed to let your original bond stand and then us pay the original because they raised my bond to $500,000
Mm.
at that point. My original bond was 150,000, and then they raised my bond when I went back into 500,000.
Wow.
And one of my pet sit clients paid the remainder.
Wow. That is special.
Yeah. Yeah. So she came to me Friday and was like, you're going home today. And I was like, no, I'm not.
Mm.
I live here. I have a community here. You can't just yank me out of here.
Yeah.
I have a friend in here with abandonment issues and anger issues. Like, no, you can't just send me home. I'll go Monday.
What was the difference? Why did that change with the new DA? Were they more midwife friendly or something?
He may or may not have had a home birth with traditional midwives.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I had kind of been sitting in my jail cell begging people to vote for him.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So then you went on to, you had more house arrest time the second time?
Yeah, we were waiting for court and to finalize I basically got to write my own deal knowing that I had to take a felony.
Okay. So house arrest was before the 10 months or was after?
Some of it, and then after for
Oh,
quite
okay.
some.
Okay.
I went back home on a house arrest that was more strict.
Okay.
My new house arrest agreement on the $500,000 bond, I could work Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to noon.
Mm.
I couldn't pump gas in my car. I couldn't shop for I couldn't do anything else.
Wow.
Oh, and I could only clean residential homes. And if I was caught on GPS taking an alternate route other than the most direct, I was back in.
Holy cow. Because you were doing house cleaning at the time. That was the job you were doing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Oh, and if I had given up my house, my rental house during the time, if we hadn't been able to save that, I wouldn't have been able to go home because it was like the address on your license is the only place you could go.
Oh my goodness. And so you don't know what that could have looked like. You don't know where you could have gone.
I couldn't have
Nice.
gone in. I would have had to have stayed in jail.
Oh,
Mhm. If she can't go to where whatever's on her license, she can't go out.
wow.
It was designed to fail.
Wow.
And I did it for over a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, I don't know, I don't want to like get you in trouble, but tell me or not, but did you keep seeing families? Did you keep
No,
serving pregnant women at all?
no,
No.
I
You had
couldn't.
that hard line.
Where would I go? How? They would
They
have us
couldn't
come to my
come to
house.
you? No, no one could come to you?
The cops ride by my house on a regular basis.
Oh, serious. Okay.
My address was printed in the paper. Haters came by my house. I was getting death threats.
Wow. Because of this story that was likely being skewed through the
Yep.
media. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. That was front page news.
So did you have an approved list of people that could bring you groceries?
No, now that anybody can come see.
So then who brought you groceries? How'd you get provisions?
Uh, Mostly former clients.
Okay.
Community.
My community, former
Okay.
clients.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nice.
And there was one midwife who didn't turn on me.
Mm-hmm.
She was at my house a lot.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You need that. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do another conversation with you guys about right how jail isn't the worst part of it. But talking about this sister turning on sister, this horizontal violence.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to touch a little bit about how we can be in communities with each other and not agree on everything, but that we can be respectful. We can talk to each other and have respect. And this collective that you have coming up, probably guaranteed you're going to have people in there who aren't best friends. And we're not expecting you to be best friends, but we
Right.
do want you to be respectful and be able to be in a wider community together, because that's just healthy. That's what's needed.
Right. Well, it's human. It's the normal human way of living to have people
Hold
in
on,
your
you got to
community.
say that again.
Oh, I said that it's just normal for us humans to live in groups and not necessarily like everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and certainly not to agree with everybody. I mean, like I'm looking at having been married almost 50 years and we still disagree on a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But we respect each other's opinions because we love each other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't always like each other, like there's days. So if you think about normal human relationships, it's not normal to love everybody all the
Right.
time, right? Like if that always makes me think you're just doing some type of disassociation or spiritual bypassing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for us, I think, to all just be human and accept our full range of emotions, including that we don't have to like each other, and it's unrealistic to expect us to.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
This will be a
And
good one.
I think that also there's different levels of light, right?
Yes.
Like, we have our colleagues
Mm-hmm.
that we're friendly with. We don't
Mhm.
dislike them necessarily, but we don't necessarily want to have dinner with them,
Sure.
right? And then there maybe people we just flat out don't like. And how do we still have to coexist in the same community?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
And if we can be respectful of each other, I may even send you clients because they're perfect
Right.
for you.
Right.
Right.
Right. I don't have to like somebody to be on a team with them or respect them or know
Right.
that
There's going to be
uh,
someone better for you than what I
that they're
am.
valid. Right. They're valid, just like I am.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can't think you're going to put a knife in my back.
Right.
Well,
Right. Or talk somebody else into doing it.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Seen that too.
Mhm.
That's not okay. That's not respectful.
Right. So that's a whole next level of it.
Mhm.
But the legal part, I think that I want to leave it with one really important thing is that I made that choice.
Mm.
I didn't have to stay in jail
Mm-mm.
and I didn't have to stay on house arrest. I could have ended my entire case in under 2 weeks
By pleading guilty.
by pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter and going out on unsupervised. They offered me unsupervised probation.
Wow.
I would have just been free to go.
And what was the turning point for you? Like, you were considering how that would look for midwifery at
I
large?
never considered it.
No. Okay.
I never considered it. There was no consideration for me.
Mm-mm.
I had nothing to lose
Yeah.
except for my self-respect
Mhm.
and my ability to look in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
and live with myself.
Yeah.
I can live with myself just fine in prison knowing I told the truth.
Right.
Mhm.
The
You're
big
never free if you lie.
No, lies catch up with you. They'll always come back.
Or haunt you. Like I feel deeply for all of my midwifery and persecuted my sisters in chains who took the deal because they were so terrified to go to prison and they have to live with that. They have to look at they have a record of voluntary manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter or, whatever, negligent homicide or whatever it was their state threw at them.
Right.
So I think people have to understand because they look at it and they go, oh my God, she spent 3 years fighting this. And that was my choice.
Right.
I didn't have to. And I didn't have little kids at home. They made the wrong choice they made the wrong choice.
When they picked you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When they picked you, yeah.
Yeah. Because if they had gone for a single mom,
Oh, heck
she would have
yeah.
had to have taken the
Right. And in that case, That's not, it's not that she's accepting a lie or necessarily even taking the easy way out, but that's the reality.
She had to get to
her
her kids.
priorities.
Right. That's the place she got put in and
Yeah.
the choice she had to make for her family.
Yeah.
That's one of those rock and a hard place,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to choose your family.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's no easy answer. I totally respect Rowan, and right from the beginning, my respect for her grew because she was willing to, stand by her word and not take that plea. And I understood from the beginning it was because she was in a place to be able to do that, right? Because that's the way the system works. They want you to take the plea. That's what's easiest for them. That moves things along. Really, the whole system's built around encouraging you to take a plea.
They never said
No, no, they don't.
And I had a trial date. It was them who postponed it, not we were ready. They kept making plea offers and postponing trial. I kept saying no, thank you.
Interesting.
Well, they knew they'd lose.
Well, they couldn't even do it. What I found out in hindsight is they couldn't get an expert witness to go on the stand and say I did it.
Aha.
And without an expert witness, you can't go to trial.
Interesting.
So they couldn't go to trial. So they just kept asking for continuances. We had an expert witness, one of the best in the country, who was willing to come for a fraction of his fee because he was appalled that I was sitting in jail with the pathology.
This was an OB that you were?
No, he was the placental pathologist.
Oh, wow. Wow. But he couldn't come on, you said? Or they
No,
didn't?
my expert witness was ready. And the state could not find an expert witness for their case.
Got it.
That would say the opposite, that I caused it. Because pathology doesn't lie.
Right, the placenta do.
People do.
Yeah. Placentas don't lie.
Right. Placentas don't lie. The placenta told the whole story.
I want to throw out here too that this isn't the only story I know of midwives that have been prosecuted and the state sat on evidence showing their innocence. Right? That this is not an unusual or a unique story. The state doesn't necessarily always tell the truth, and they don't necessarily always disclose all of the information.
And they can legally not.
Right.
So what people have to understand is in a bond hearing, in a grand jury hearing, and all the preliminary stuff, they can say whatever crazy shit they want to say.
Yeah.
None of it has to be true.
None of it has to be true?
No. It is the burden of us to prove our innocence.
Right.
I'm going to repeat that because it wasn't heard well, but she said it's the burden of us to prove our innocence.
Now, when you get to trial, they have to have evidence to back what they're saying.
Sure.
And that's why they couldn't get to trial.
Man.
It doesn't work the way we were taught it works.
No.
And it's not until you actually get in there yourself or with somebody that you go, oh, this is a game. This is not a game that's played by the rules that they taught us the judicial system plays by.
In my bond hearing, my initial hearing, my first one, they said, we haven't investigated this case at all. We just threw every big charge we could at her to stop her from getting on a plane and speaking at that human rights and childbirth conference.
Oh, you were scheduled to speak at something?
Yep. I was getting ready to go to Oregon and speak at the Human Rights and Childbirth Conference for Hermine Hayes Klein.
Oh my goodness.
On a panel with other persecuted midwives about autonomy in birth and sovereignty and practice.
And the state you were serving in, remind me about the legislation, the licensure laws.
Only certified nurse midwives are legally practicing in my state.
Right. And so they didn't get you for practicing midwifery without a license.
Oh, I made them charge me with that in
Okay.
the end. I did.
Yeah.
willingly and willfully on a daily basis.
Instead of the manslaughter or in.
No, I just made them add that because I did it.
Okay.
And I had to sign a waiver because the statute of limitations had ran out on them charging me with that. And I'm like, but that's what I did.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Let me have it.
Which is a C-class misdemeanor in my state, just so you know.
Okay.
It's a class 3 misdemeanor. It's like jaywalking.
Is it still a class 3? Do you know?
It is the practice of midwifery. It is still a class 3 misdemeanor.
Okay.
However, they've recently added holding yourself out as a midwife, meaning advertising and using the word midwifery, calling yourself a midwife to anyone, blah, 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 all that is now an I felony, which is very low, but it is still a felony and it is scary people.
Okay.
And they're scary words. You know, we've been taught to be afraid of jail, be afraid of all of these things. The system is totally rigged in every way that I can see. And we expect it to work and it doesn't. That leads, and then it makes it easy for that court of public opinion that we're going to talk about next time to assume that if Rowan Bailey was arrested for involuntary manslaughter, well, the state must know and if she must be guilty, right? Something bad. She did something bad.
Right. And I see that when I'm fundraising for other midwives all the time. Well, what did she do? Was there a bad outcome? Well, define bad outcome. What do you mean by that?
There's the only outcome for that baby. Bad or good.
Well, right. And so I make 3 points. One is no midwife sets out to cause harm. Right. There is never an intention for a midwife to set out and cause harm to a mother or baby. Number 2, no midwife belongs in a jail cell. No midwife belongs in the silver bracelets. This is not criminal. Number 3, if she has a criminal case, she has a right to good counsel. I'm not here to judge her abilities to practice as a midwife. I'm not here for the story. I'm not here to be her judge or jury. I am here to make sure her rights are withheld.
And number 4, keep their name out of your mouth.
Keep their fucking name out of your mouth.
Yep.
That's the least we can do.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything, don't have anything good to say about it, you're not here to support, move on. And stop other people from doing it. My good friend here, Sarita Bennett, is so good at shutting people down online.
Yeah, I won't have it.
Yeah. So I think that, because the one thing that people always ask is, how do I protect myself?
I wanted to end with.
How do I protect myself? You can't.
You can't.
Not in this system.
A license doesn't protect you. There's a woman just a few miles up who has a license. She did everything right. Her board said so, and she's on involuntary manslaughter charges right now. She's out on bond.
Yeah.
Nothing will protect you.
In a system that prefers that this option does not exist.
That's it.
That's their only answer that they want, is for us not to exist.
And we are playing our own judge, jury, and executioner by signing up for all the bullshit of, but if we're good girls and play along with the license, but if we're good girls and we do this, then they won't come for us. No, they're proving different now.
Yes, they will. They'll come for whoever, especially when there's legislation in play.
Because then it becomes the good midwife, bad midwife. Well, oh, she got arrested. She must be a bad.
Right. We need to make sure
we need to annihilate those kinds of midwives. We're the good ones.
But that's not true. Not when you're serving your community. As they're asking, right? Let's serve them as they're asking and serve them with integrity. with good education.
Mhm.
No, a license will not protect you. Private ministry members association will not protect you. They've not been proven.
No,
And like Sarita, you say, it's the side that can push the hardest.
Right.
right.
There's no such thing as right within the law. There's
Yeah.
no such thing as right or wrong. It's who can push the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is annoying
Mhm.
as all get out, but it is true.
Right. And they count on that fear. And also, what I will say is, I hear midwives say, but I'm so careful with who I work with.
Mm-hmm.
They would never. You don't, that hasn't been
No.
tested until they're holding a dead baby
With the
Right.
hospital bill.
with a hospital bill that's to the sky,
Right.
and their families in their ear saying, we told you, you shut up.
Mm-hmm.
We were right. You need to go after that woman.
There's so many pieces to this. But I think Rowan's correct that we need to start with no midwife wakes up that morning and says, I think I'll go do something that hurts somebody. Right? If we just start with that,
Mm-hmm.
then we can shift into a better way to deal with these kinds of situations.
Right.
Yeah, a better way to deal with these situations. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be the person who sets fire to the stake.
Right. Right.
Don't be that asshole.
Yeah, you're not protecting yourself by throwing somebody else under the bus.
No.
That's one of the misunderstandings.
Right. You're
In the
hurting
community.
midwifery.
You're
as a
hurting
whole.
everybody.
When one of us goes down, we all.
Yes.
Because they don't say, well, those kind of, they say midwives.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Midwives.
Mhm.
Right.
The things they don't want to have exist.
Right.
They're working
Yeah.
hard, but we'll push back. You
Yeah,
push
that's right.
back. That's what it is.
Midwifery will always exist.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. They can push and push and push, and we can, come and go. But it's
Say
a
that again?
human. I said we can come and go. They can push and push to get rid of midwifery, but it's innate in the human species,
Yes.
right? So as long as humans exist, midwifery will exist.
Right. And you won't call yourself midwife. You don't have to call yourself midwife. You don't.
It doesn't matter if you do.
No, it doesn't matter. This is what we do.
This will
Right.
always
And it
exist.
doesn't matter to the law either.
Right.
If some other person in the community somewhere called you midwife,
Mm-hmm.
they told me that. They told me that.
Yep.
Does-
you did something that qualifies
Right.
as
They have a list in their thing. This is what quantify, which is whoosh. In our bill in my state, half of what they have down as midwifery practice, doulas is within the scope of doula.
Yeah.
Like it's like helping you figure out your EDD.
Well, and so see, that's
Now
not
for
to
that.
say
for that. Huh?
that's not to say that if you are a traditional, unlicensed, unregulated midwife in a very aggressive state, that is not permission to go telling everyone I'm midwife, do this, do that. You can if you want to,
Right.
but there is some wisdom to being a little bit under the radar. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be an activist. That will get you pulled under.
Yes.
Learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, learn from Rowan's mistakes. Learn from Sarita's mistakes.
Website. I was an activist. I had a community. Like we started a community called National Holistic Birth Collective. I was interviewed in a local paper about it, like because I'm like, yeah, class 3 misdemeanor, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't
Sure,
think
that
I'm
doesn't-
coming
I
with
mean-
murder.
Right. If you were just gotten on that, you would have said sure.
Yeah.
But the activism
Right.
put you in.
The more you are visible, the easier it is for you to be a target.
Yep.
Say that
Yep.
one more time.
So the more visible you are, the easier it is for you to be a target.
Yes. Oh, yes. Especially since there isn't this collective healthy mindset of she didn't start her morning saying, I want to injure people. A lot of
Right.
people, regardless of knowing that's what they're thinking, that's what they're thinking. That's how they're operating.
Because they're seeing it as recklessness.
Yeah, she's dangerous.
Not that I have a relationship with this community and this is what is being asked of me.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Different, two totally different things. This was good. Thank you for
Yeah.
this conversation. We will
Yeah.
pick up next time and talk about that horizontal violence and
Yeah.
the court of public opinion.
Mhm.